Hello, beautiful learners. Welcome to another IELTS listening test. Today we are going to practice IELTS listening practice test 18. And before going to start our class, let me check out the sound quality, whether it's good or not good. Then I will start the class. Okay, just give me a few seconds.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you have to answer questions on what you hear. There'll be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played only once. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the
Okay, I hope the sound is good enough to start our class. Then let's move on and listen some instructions first. Okay,
test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers into your answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a talk between a customer and a travel agent. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 10.
so I hope you got the instruction as she was saying. Now let's read it. Okay, so here's the another instruction for us: no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, so we are allowed to write only 2 words for each answer. Okay, as it is mentioned here. So let's move on and let's find out some keywords for question number 1. So first we need to read it. Okay, let's read it together. On which day, on which day and date does the woman want to fly to Toronto? Okay, so maybe we're going to listen a date and a day number, the name of a day and a date. Okay, so let's read it. Let's listen it. Okay, let me highlight which day and date. Okay, now we're going to listen at name of a day and the day or the date. Okay, let's listen it.
Questions 1 to 10. Good morning. I'd like to book a flight to Toronto, please.
Certainly. Flying from Sydney?
Yes, on Thursday, please.
Thursday the 16th, right? There are 3 flights that day.
Okay, I hope you got the answer because she was saying on Thursday, and the man was asking the question like Thursday the 16th, right? So, and the answer would be Thursday and Thursday 16th. Okay. Oh no, it's not working. All right. Thursday 16th. Okay. The day is Thursday and the date is 16th. We just heard it. Okay, now let's move on to the next one and let's find out some keyword for this question. What class does the woman want to fly? So what class, okay, does the woman want to fly in? So maybe we are going to listen it. It's maybe it can be the answer can be business class or economy class. So we just need to listen it. Okay.
Do you prefer flying with any particular airline?
I've heard that Air Canada is good, but expensive. Is there a big difference in prices between the airlines? I'll be flying business class.
Yes, there is. Air Canada is the most expensive airline at 4,000 to...
So maybe we you you got the answer. The answer would be business class. Okay. Business. The answer would be business because she was saying that I will be flying business class. So the answer would be business. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Question number 3. What is the lowest price for a ticket on the day the customer has chosen? Okay. So we need to highlight like price, lowest price. Okay. Price. Maybe we're going to listen a number. I mean, it's an amount. Let's listen.
to $6,000 for business class, depending on the date of return. Qantas is 3,000 to 6,000, and Pacific, the budget airline, charges between 2,000 and 3,500.
Wow, that's quite a difference in prices. I'm returning on from Wednesday 22nd, so could you check the return prices for me?
Sure. Let me just enter the return date into the computer. Okay. Air Canada has tickets for $4,600. Qantas has them for $4,200. Pacific has tickets for $3,200. Those prices all include taxes and surcharges.
Okay. I'm sorry about my throat. He was saying three number or three amount. Okay, maybe you got them. And the last one is he was saying 3,200. Before this one, he also said 4,600, and second one was 4,200. So which one is lowest? Obviously, the third one, because third one is 3,200. So the answer would be 3,200. Okay. Now let's move on to the okay. If if anybody don't understand or don't or you like you're failing, you're not understanding the answer, it's really complex for you. So I would suggest you to rewatch this video or just pause this video right now, and you need to listen this previous question again. And if you listen it again and again, more and more times, I hope you will be able to get the answer easily. Okay, so I'll suggest you to pause this video right now and uh, replay the previous question and rewatch those question again as I was explaining each of them. So you need to just rewatch this session. Okay, let's move on to the question number 4. Let's highlight some keyword for this question. What do the ticket price include? Price includes what? Okay, now we need to listen it.
$200. Those prices all include taxes and surcharges.
Okay.
I hope you got the answer. He was saying that both prices are all include taxes and surcharges. So the answer would be Texas and sources. Okay. T A X yes, Texas and sources. Sources. Charges. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Here is another part. Now we have another instruction, and that is no more than one word for one word or a time for each gap. Okay, so here's that we can see it's airlines, and the second column is outward flight departure, and in third column it's arrival time, and in fourth it's return flight departure. In the fifth one it's again time, arrival time, and in the sixth it's a stopover. Okay. I mean, it's a landing place. Okay, so let's move on. So let's highlight some code for this question. Where we have, so here is a question number 5. So the keyword for this question can be this one, contacts, and time 10:15. Okay, and maybe we are going to listen here in question number 6, name of a place, and here we might be listening time. Okay, so here we will listen a time, and here we will perhaps we will listen a name of place. So let's listen it together.
Okay. Before I make a decision, I would like to know the departure and arrival times in both directions.
Of course. Let's look at Air Canada first. Leaves Sydney at 10 a.m. and arrives in Toronto at 10 a.m. local time. There's a stopover in Vancouver. The Qantas flight leaves Sydney at 1:45 and arrives at 10:15 a.m. There's also a stopover in Vancouver, but it's shorter than the Air Canada one. Pacific flies via Los Angeles and leaves at 6:15, arriving at 11:50.
So okay, we got this answer for question 5, and as he was saying, the Qantas flight leaves Sydney at 1:45. Okay, so that's what the answer would be, 1:45. Now let's move on to listen for question number 6.
But it's shorter than the Air Canada one. Stopover in Vancouver and arrives at 10:15 a.m. There's also a stopover in Vancouver, but it's shorter than the Air Canada one.
Okay, so he was saying there's also a stopover in Vancouver. So the answer would be Vancouver. Oh, no. Vancouver. Now let's move on to the question number 7 and 8. So here we also listen at time in question number 7, and in question number 8 we also listen at time. So it's outward flight departure time, and it's a return departure time. Okay. But we can highlight this specific.
Pacific flies via Los Angeles and leaves at 6:15. Pacific flies via Los Angeles and leaves at 6:15, arriving at 11:55 p.m.
Oh, that doesn't sound very convenient. Flying by Pacific, I mean.
Well, budget airlines do offer cheaper tickets, but they are often not so advantageous in other ways.
How about the returned flights?
Let me check. The Air Canada flight leaves Toronto at 4 o'clock and arrives at 6 o'clock local time. The Qantas flight leaves at 9 a.m. and arrives at 11 a.m. local time in Sydney. The Pacific flight leaves Toronto at 10:25 and arrives at 6:10 local time in Sydney. Again, not very convenient timing.
No, it isn't.
So I hope you got the answer, but maybe some of you can be misleading, as he was saying a lot of time. But you have to write the exact answer. So let me explain to you. So we are just looking for question number 7. So let me explain it first to you. So it's the word we highlight is Pacific, and here it's outward flight times, we can see. So Pacific, he was saying Pacific flies by Los Angeles and leaves Los Angeles and leaves at 6:15. As that's why I wrote here 6:15. Okay, arriving at 11:55. So we are not listening for it for arrival time, but we are listening it for departure time. Departure means leaving time. Okay, so that's why here the answer would be 6:15, as he was saying leaves at 6:15. Then he was saying a lot of time, but we have to listen for specific return flight departure. Okay, so he was saying a lot of talks, but one sentence I would like to repeat, and that is he was saying that the Pacific flight leaves Toronto at 10:25 and arrive at 6:10 and local time in Sydney again. So here we are listening it for return departure. Okay, so as he was saying that the Pacific flight leaves Toronto at 10:25. Okay, that's what the answer would be, at 10:25. Now let's move on to the next one, question number 9 to 10. So here's another instruction for us: no more than three words for each answer. Okay, just keep it in your mind. What is the customer's full name? Let's write it.
Are the stopovers the same as on the outward journey?
Yes, they are.
Well, I have a business appointment on Wednesday the 22nd in the morning, so unfortunately I can't take the Qantas flight. The Pacific flight times are too inconvenient, so I'll take the Air Canada flight, even though it's more expensive.
Right, I'll book that for you, shall I? Do you have your passport with you?
Yes, I do. Here you are.
Thank you. I'll just enter your details. Okay. Could you just check this printout? Make sure that I've spelt your name correctly and have written your passport number correctly too. Will you be paying by credit card?
Yes, I have a company credit card. Here you are. Oh, my name is Reese with a C, not with an S.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll correct that. R-E-E-C-E.
And my given names are hyphenated. Mary-Ann, with an E.
Okay, let me explain it to you. She was saying, her name is, her first name is Rick, and he was saying Rick with C, not AS. So we have to, and the man was saying, oh, I'm sorry, I'll correct that, R double E, and he also uh, um, spelling the name first name, so we can write it R double E. Oh, it's not working. R double E. He was saying R double E C E, Rick, and then the girl was saying that, and my given name are Mary Annie. Mary hyphen Annie. Okay, so we can write it Mary Annie, Annie, as she was saying. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Which company does she work? Which company? Maybe we're going to listen a name of a company.
Oh, you've got that. Sorry.
Okay. Mary-Ann. Joined together with a hyphen. Is the passport number okay?
Yes. Could you give me an official invoice, please? I need it for my company.
Certainly. Shall I use the company name as it appears on the credit card? ABC Stocks.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Could you sign here and here? Thank.
So he was saying that he was saying that suddenly shall I use the company name as it appears on the credit card? ABC Stocks. So ABC Stock is the name of the company. ABC Stocks. Okay. Now let's move on to the part 2. Here's another instruction for us. Not more than 3 words for each gap. So let's highlight some keyword for this question. Tenancy. A tenancy urgent is a blah blah between the tenant and the landlord. So let's find out some code for this question. A tenancy agreement is blah blah between the tenant and okay agreement maybe after a article we might be listening noun. Okay, let's listen it.
Thank you. I'll just print out your ticket.
Thank you. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So here we are allowed to write only 2 words. Okay,
I am here to give you a talk on tenancy agreements and other legalities. If you rent a flat or a house or bedsit, you will have a tenancy agreement or lease. This is a written legal agreement between you, the tenant, and the...
so the answer would be written legal agreement between you. Okay, so here is between. The answer would be written legal agreement on No. Legal agreement. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one, question number 12. And assured short hold tenancy means that your landlord cannot ask you to leave without a good reason during the blah blah. A good reason during the blah blah. Landlord cannot ask you to leave. Let's listen it.
The property owner, the landlord. Tenancy agreements should normally contain information about the amount of rent, the length of the tenancy, and what rights you and your landlord will have under the law. In most cases, you will have an assured short-hold tenancy, which means that your landlord cannot ask you to leave without a good reason during the first 6 months.
So the answer would be first 6 months. 6 months, okay, as we heard it from his talk. Let's move on to the next one. Tenants should keep we are going to listen a noun as before the blank. Here we can see it's a article. So after article it can be a noun, okay. Blah blah of the tenancy agreement. Let's listen it. Tenant should keep a blah blah of tenancy agreement. Let's listen.
Although these rights offer you some protection, it is still your responsibility to check the tenancy agreement thoroughly and make sure you agree with the terms. Do not sign the tenancy agreement if you do not know what all of it means. If you do not fully understand your rights, show your tenancy agreement to an advisor in the accommodation office or student welfare office at your university or college and ask for help. You can also get help from a housing advice centre, law centre, or citizens advice bureau. When you do sign the tenancy agreement, make sure you get a copy to keep for yourself.
So the answer would be copy. As he was saying, when you do sign that tenancy agreement, make sure you get a copy to keep for yourself. So the answer would be copy. Now let's move on to the question number 14. Blah blah is a list of all the items in the property. Is the list of all items.
In case you need to check any details later on. The landlord may also ask you to sign an inventory, a list of all the items in the property.
So the answer would be an inventory. Oh. An inventory. Inventory. Now let's move on to the next question number 15 to 17. Here's another instruction. Okay, let's read it. Decide which three of the following statements about deposits are correct and write the appropriate letters on your answer sheet in any order. Okay. Decide which three following statements are statements about. Okay. Three statements about deposits are correct and retain the okay 3. So the keyword for this question question number 15, 16 and 17 is 3 statements about deposit. Okay, let's listen it. So let's read it first, and I think it would be more helpful. They are special to England and they are generally equal to 1 month rent. They can be used instead of 1 month's rent. They can cover unpaid bills when you leave accommodation. They can cover the cost of damage to furniture. They are not payable when you use an accommodation agency. They can cover the legal costs of tenancy deposits. Okay, let's listen it.
Pieces of furniture, kitchen items, etc. If so, make sure you get a copy of this as well. Check that it is correct and that any existing damage to these items is included before signing it. Details later on. The landlord may also ask you to sign an inventory, a list of all the items in. So, any existing damage does not provide an inventory, you should make one yourself and send a copy to the landlord. Let's take a look at payments. Before you move into private accommodation, you will probably be asked to pay a deposit equivalent to 1 month's rent. Make sure you get.
Okay, so he was saying before moved into private accommodation, before you moved into private private accommodation, you will probably uh, you will probably asked uh, you will probably be asked to pay a deposit equivalent to 1 month rent. So what do you think the answer should be, or which one I should select? Option number B. Okay, they are generally equal to so the answer would be B. They are generally equal to 1 month rents. As was saying, let me explain it to you again. Before you move into private accommodation, you will probably be asked to pay a deposit equivalent to 1 month rents. So that's why I choose option B. Now let's move on.
Get a receipt for any deposit or fees you have paid. When you leave the accommodation, if you have paid all your bills and caused no damage to the property, your full deposit will be paid back to you.
Okay, we heard two answer here. First, let me explain it to you. First, he was saying when you leave the accommodation, if you have paid all your bills and caused no damage to the property. So which one for this sentence, which one we should select? What do you think? Option number D, as they can cover unpaid bills. They can cover unpaid bills when you leave accommodation. As was saying, when you leave the accommodation, if you have paid all your bills and caused no damage to the property. Okay, they can cover unpaid bills when you leave the accommodation. And also he was saying your full deposit will be paid back to you. And so I should select they can cover the cost of damage to furniture. Okay, let's move on to the question number 18 to 20. Decide which are three ways a landlord can legally evict a tenant other than an excluded tenant, and write the appropriate letter on the your answer sheet. In so decide which three ways a landlord can legally evict a tenant. And we can see here, by moving into the property, by moving a member of his or her family into the property, by applying to your educational institution for your eviction, by waiting until the tenancy agreement expires, by giving you notice that you have to leave, by giving you at least 4 weeks notice that you have to leave, by getting a court getting a court to issue an order for you to leave, by contacting a law center or the citizens advice. Bravo. Okay, let's listen it.
If you are renting through an accommodation agency, you may also be asked to pay fees for preparing tenancy agreements and administration. You should also keep a written record of all the rent payments that you make as you make them. If you have a dispute with your landlord or you get behind with your rent, you should get advice as soon as possible. Remember that if you live in the same building as your landlord, or you have a room in a student or youth hostel, or university college accommodation, then this will affect how secure your tenancy will be. If you do not share any living space with the landlord or a member of their family, apart from means of access like an entrance hall or a staircase, or are a student living in halls of residence, or any other type of accommodation where an educational institution is the landlord, you will have basic protection from eviction. Your landlord will have to end your tenancy first, either by waiting.
So he was saying your landlord will have to end your tenancy first. So which one do you think we should select? By waiting until the tenancy of agreement expires. And he was saying your landlord will have to end your tenancy first. Landlord will have to. By giving you at least. So the answer would be D. Okay, let's listen for the next one.
For the end of the fixed term you agreed for the tenancy, or by giving you at least 4 weeks written notice in writing to quit, or through getting a court order.
So let me explain it to you. As he was saying, uh, your landlord will have to end your tenancy first, either by waiting for the end of the fixed term you exit for the tenancy, or by getting you at least 4 weeks written notice in written to quit, or through getting a court order before you have to leave. So that's why I choose option D, F, and G, as by waiting until the tenancy agreement expires, by giving you at least 4 weeks, as he was saying, and by getting a court to issue an order for you to leave, as he was mentioning each of answer. So That's all about part 2. Now we are going to jump into part 3 and part 4. So here we have another instruction for us. No more than 3 words for each answer. Okay. So let's highlight some keyword for this question number 21. What did Clara originally want to do her project? Okay, we are out of time. Don't worry. Just okay. Let me just
You will
re-click
hear
each answer again as we are out of time. Okay. Four. Okay, let's move on. So let's find out some code for this question. What did Clara originally want to do her project on? Clara originally want to do her project on. We're going to maybe listen at name of the topic. Let's listen it.
a number of different recordings, and you have
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 30. Good morning, Clara. Take a seat. Right, I've read your first draft of your project on housing. Well done.
Thank you. I know it's only a first draft, though, so I'm sure you have some suggestions on how it can be improved. I was very nervous at first because it wasn't my first choice of topic.
I'm
I had
sorry.
wanted to do something on voting patterns, but getting information, well,
So she was saying boarding pattern. Oh, I wrote triple T. I have to erase one of them. Okay, boarding pattern. P-A-T-T-E-R patterns. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. What can Clara read about housing price every day? What Clara read about housing price every day? We're going to listen a name of a place.
it didn't look possible within the time frame.
Don't worry. I think that you have made a good choice. Yes, a comparison of the factors influencing house prices. Very topical.
Definitely. There seems to be something about housing prices in the newspapers every day.
So the answer would be newspaper. Newspapers. Okay. Now let's move on to the question number 23. Which facilities might influence housing price? Facilities influence housing price.
Just wanted to compare the different factors. You know, location, the proximity of facilities such as schools.
As I said, a good...
So the answer would be schools. As she was mentioning, She was saying that location, the uh, proximity of facilities such as schools. Okay, so the answer would be schools. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 24. What did Clara's friend suggest including information on?
Choice of topic. Now, the first part is very well done. You clearly introduce what you are going to look at, why and how.
Do you think that I have covered enough points there?
I think so. Did you have anything else in mind? You know, something else you'd like to cover?
Well, a friend suggested that I might include crime rates.
So the answer would be crime rates. Crime rates.
Actually, that's a very good idea. You might consider it. It is something.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Where could Clara get such information from? Why? I cannot highlight it.
That many people take into account, consciously or otherwise. When choosing a place to live, nowadays the police are required to keep quite detailed statistics on crime.
So the answer would be the police. Police. Oh no. Police. Police. Now let's move on to the question number 26. Okay, so here's another instruction for us. No more than 3 words. Enter a number for each answer or each gap. So let's highlight some code for this question. In the middle part, Clara needs to use, okay, middle part need to use a blah blah. Let's listen it.
And you can get them fairly easily. I mean, it's easy enough to ask for them, but it might take a while for the police to get them to you.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Contact police for crime statistics.
Now, I have to say that I found the middle part more difficult to get through.
Oh, I thought I had done that rather well.
Don't worry, it's not awful. It's just that, well, try to take a uniform approach. Use one.
So the answer would be uniform approach. Uniform approach. Let's move on to the next one. The professor suggests that blah blah of bibliography.
For each criteria people use when choosing housing. That way you're comparing with rather than different things.
I see. So I should stick with one as far as possible. Yes, that does seem logical. So I don't really need to get more data or write much more. Instead, I need to change. I've got it.
It just makes it a lot easier to read. That's the main thing.
Yes, of course. How about the conclusion?
Based on the information you've provided, I think that you've done very well. You'll have to see if the new information you include changes your conclusion at all. It probably won't make a big difference, but you might see variations in some areas.
Okay. Do you think that I used appropriate headings? And is the bibliography okay? I know that a lot of professors look long and hard at that, whilst most students think it's unimportant.
Yes, professors find the bibliography very useful. It tells us where you are getting your information from and whether those sources are appropriate. Your bibliography is fine, but you might consider changing the format. Here's a
So the answer will be changing the format. Changing the format. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The professor suggests that headline are
printout of the most widely accepted format. You can keep that.
Thank you. And the headings?
I made a few notes. Here are some suggestions. Don't feel that you have to use them. I won't be offended, but some of your headings are long-winded, whereas others are relatively short, as they should be.
short. So H or P short as they should be. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Question number 29. How much longer does Clara have to finish the project? How much longer does Clara have to finish? How much longer?
Thank you. I'll take a look at these later.
How long did you work on the whole thing?
Well, 2 months, perhaps on average of 3 hours a day. Not more than that. Probably 150 hours?
That's about what I would recommend. Anything less than 120 hours is going to be detrimental to the project. You'll probably need another 50 hours work on it in total. You've still got a month, so you should manage it easily.
Yes, a couple of hours a day.
So let me explain it to you. He was saying you will probably need another 50 hours work on it in total. So you have still got a month, which so the answer would be a month. So she just has 1 month. Okay, that's what the answer to one. So what the last thing Clara need to before giving the professor the project? Last thing. Okay, let's listen it.
Easy.
I'd suggest that you come back to see me in, about, let's say, 3 weeks' time. Then you should be virtually finished, and I can have another look before you do your final proofreading, before handing it in.
Okay, I'll see you after one of the seminars to make an appointment. Is that okay?
Certainly. Thanks, Clara.
Thank you, Professor. That is the end of
Okay, the answer would be proofreading. Okay, as professor was saying, I can have another look before you do your final proofreading before handing it in. So the answer would be proofreading. Oh no, what I'm writing. It's not working, but okay, it's working right now. Proofreading. Okay, proofreading. Now let's move on to the part 4, question number 31 to 40. Okay, let's read it. Answer the following information about British education scholarships using no more than 3 words and a number for each gap. Okay, British education scholarships, okay, available to all overseas students for student at blah blah level.
Now listen carefully. and answer questions 31 to 40. Welcome to this presentation on scholarships and funding. If you are hoping for help with funding your studies in the UK, you need to get working on this as soon as you can. It is almost impossible to make arrangements for financial support once you have left your own country. Start by inquiring with your own Ministry of Education or Department of Education. Your local British Council office can provide details of awards available, including those offered by UK institutions themselves. You'll also find information and a scholarships database on their website. The main scholarship schemes available for international students include British Education Scholarships, Commonwealth Scholarships, Foreign Office Scholarships, and Overseas Students' Research Awards. British Education Scholarships are prestigious awards, enabling talented international students to study in the UK at postgraduate level.
So the answer would be postgraduate. Okay, postgraduate level. Let's move on to the next one. 2000 awarded each year, full award, full award, blah blah award. Full, okay, 2000 awarded each, full award, blah blah award for all, partial award.
Only students studying for at least one academic year are eligible. About 2,000 new scholarships are currently awarded each year, and there are plans to expand the programme further. There are 3 types of scholarship. The first is a full award, where all the fees, a living allowance, and travel to and from the UK are paid for. Then there is a fees-only award, where all or
Fees only. Awarded.
Part of the fees are paid. Finally, there is a partial award, where a combination of the fees and the allowances are paid. The value of the scholarship will vary, depending on the type of the award, the length of the course, and the country from which the student comes, but it is up to a maximum of £20,000.
£20,000. The answer would be. So let's move on to the question number 34 to 35. So here's another instruction for us: no more than three words under a number for each gap. Okay, just keep it in your mind. Why should you apply for this scholarship? Let's listen it.
Contact the British Commonwealth scholarships are awards mainly for postgraduate study, although funding for undergraduate study may be possible if there are no suitable undergraduate courses in your home country. You must be a citizen of a Commonwealth country, including the UK. A university degree or equivalent is usually required. Apply to the British Council office in your country. You must be resident in your own country when you...
So the answer would be British Council office. British C-O-U-N British Council office. British Council office. Now let's move on to the question number 35. How much each scholarship worth?
apply. About 3,000 of these scholarships are awarded each year, and their value ranges from £5,000 to £15,000.
So the answer would be 5,000 to 15,000. 1,000 to 15,000. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Question number 36. So here's another instruction for us. No more than 2 words for each gap. Foreign Office. Okay, Foreign Office scholarship awarded jointly by the Foreign Office and HE institutions, usually awarded for blah blah.
Foreign Office scholarships are a joint initiative by the Foreign Office and certain UK higher education institutions. The awards are normally given for taught postgraduate courses. In rare cases, an award.
So the answer would be taught postgraduate courses. PAUGHT taught postgraduate courses. COURSES courses. Now let's move on to the next one. Question number 37. Not employed by government or blah blah.
Award may be made for undergraduate study if the course is not available at an institution in your home country. They are funded by the Foreign Office and participating UK higher education institutions. You must normally be under 35 years of age. You must be resident in a developing country, and you must not be currently employed by your government or by an international organisation. You should be planning.
So the answer would be international organization. International organization. Organization. Now let's move on to the question number 38. Courses must be in field of blah blah.
Planning to study a subject related to development and be fluent in English. Study a subject related in an international organisation. You should be planning to study a subject related to development and be fluent in English. Applied.
Field of development. Okay. Development. Okay. Now let's move on to the question number 39 and 40. So here's another instruction for us. No more than 2 words for each gap. Which cost is covered by this award? Let's listen it.
Overseas Students Research Awards are awards for full-time postgraduate study for a period of 1 year. They make up the difference between home and overseas students' fees. They are funded by the Ministry of Education. You must be a postgraduate research student at a publicly funded higher education institution in the UK. You will need to demonstrate academic merit and research potential. Application forms are available from UK higher education institutions, so contact the one where you want to study. For further information, contact the OSRA office via their website www.osra.org. Actually, you can email them at osra@osra.org. On average, 1,000 of these scholarships are awarded each year, and the maximum amount is £25,000 per scholarship.
So the answer would be fees. And she was also saying the answer of this 40, which organization provides this award. So she was saying Ministry of Education. So the answer would be Ministry of Education. So we get done, and let's submit it, and let's check out how much we scored. Oh no, why we got 8 out of 9. Let's check what we got mistake. Okay, here we have a mistake, business. Oh, I got a mistake here. Here we wrote double S, but we should have written one S, but we wrote it double S. Okay, it's a mistake. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Oh, maybe we got a mistake. So it's her last name and her given name is this one. So we should have written this one first, Mary Annie Rich. Okay. Okay, here's another mistake. Oh, we also here wrote double T, but we should have written a single T. That's why this one is a mistake. And then fees only. Okay, it's not a mistake, I think. Just for we got a mistake for S. We should write also S here. Okay, it's a mistake. And fees. Oh no, it's a mistake. Oh, it's a typing mistake. Okay, no problem. But you have to be careful when you're writing. Okay, be careful when you're writing your answer. Don't be Polish like me, as I was writing um, wrong, or it's just my mistake. That's why I write miss spelling. That's why I got 8. We all, not I, but we. Okay, so that's all about our today's lesson, and hope see you in the next class. So bye for now. Bye.